All right. So we are starting with the session. I hope your consoles are ready with all of you. Okay. This time, in this particular practical, okay, wait, just let me first present the screen. Just give me a minute. I'm opening the document for you. Okay. Okay, once my screen is visible to you, please acknowledge. Is it visible? Okay. All right. See, today we are going to do your practical number 2. Okay, in the last session we did your introduction to pointers, call by value, call by reference. Today we are going to see introduction to your dynamic memory allocation, the DMA functions, okay, the malloc, calloc and free. Fine. Now, particularly in this practical, what I am going to do is I am going to explain you with the help of a PPT, right? Then I'll ask you to perform the program which I have included in the PPT. Once you are finished with that program, then I will give you one definition. Like for call by value, call by reference, I had given you the definition to perform the swapping of integers, right? Using three integers. So a similar kind of a small program I shall give you with respect to your arrays. Okay, so that is what you are going to do. Even in the PPT also, the small program is with respect to arrays. So just perform that whenever I'm giving you time in between. And then once we are finished with malloc and calloc, I'll tell you to make a program using arrays, and that program will also be not very complicated. You just have to take the elements for the array and you just have to display them, but with the help of using your malloc and callocs. All right, so that is what the program I'm going to give you. Fine, so let's start with the first this part, dynamic memory allocation part. Okay, so see, we know that if we are declaring an integer type of a variable, then in the memory 2 bytes of my memory block is reserved. Okay, or if it is a modern compiler, then 4 byte. All right, next is the example of float. If I'm giving float percentage, then exactly 4 byte of memory block will be available for that variable, that is my percentage. Okay, let's go on array memory location. Suppose you are giving an array of 10. Okay, array of size 10, and the type of that array is integers. So in my memory block, exactly 10 blocks will be reserved, each of 2 or 4 bytes. So total, you can say the total memory reserved by integer roll number of size 10 can be either 20 byte or 40 bytes. Okay, but this is static memory allocation. Okay, and there are some issues. What are those issues? Let's see. Suppose this is my program. Okay, the program is about getting the numbers of student from the user, either roll number, or you can say the number of students. Okay, the here integer roll number 10 is one of my array. All right, n and I are also my two other variables. Now I am asking the user the number of students, okay, and I am scanning it. So let's say the total number of students entered by the user at first is a small amount which can be, handled in roll number size 10, and that amount, that particular size, I am going to include all the roll numbers. For example, when this is executed, the red box, if you can see the highlighted part, it is going to allocate, the memory inside your memory database. Okay, and that memory allocation will be of 20 bytes or 40 bytes. Okay, because size is 10, so 10 blocks each of 2 or 4 bytes. Now what will be shown in the output? Number of students it is going to ask. So let's say the user entered is 3. Now 3 can be handled inside my integer roll number 10. Why? Because 10 is greater than 3, so size can be handled. So the for loop is going to run, okay, and one by one you are going to take the roll numbers. Let's say 10, 15 and 18. So in the memory block, 10, 15 and 18 will get stored, okay. Inside your memory block, 10, 15 and 18 is going to get stored. But then what about rest of the 7 blocks? This this particular block, the memory is getting wasted. Even though it is occupied by roll number, no other data structure or say the process can use this memory. Okay, because it is blocked by integer roll number of size 10, and still it is not getting used. Fine. Another scenario, the opposite scenario. Let's say number of students the user is entering as 60. For example, this program is about a new school. Okay, initially that school was, expecting not more than 10 students. So this program was, built keeping 10 students in mind. But now, due to some reasons, the school is flourishing. Okay, more number of admissions are there. So the user, obviously the user who is using this particular program is not going to know that what we programmer has programmed, okay, to store the roll numbers. So without thinking anything, that user is going to enter number of students as 60. Okay, now we can know that our roll number size is 10, but the number of students entered here is 60. So that means it is not going to handle that. Till what part it is going to handle? Till, the 10 students, the first 10 students roll numbers can be entered. Okay, so you see from 0 to 9, from index value 0 to 9, the value is going to be taken, or you can say it can be stored in your memory. But after that, it is going to give you lack of memory, so your input is not going to get stored. So these are the two issues with your static memory allocation. It can be either wastage of memory or it can be a lack of memory. So in that case, we are introducing, the dynamic memory allocation part. Okay, because in a static memory you cannot change the size of your allocated memory. All right, so that's why we are moving to the dynamic memory allocation. And dynamic memory allocation are having these predefined functions. Okay, one is malloc, calloc, realloc and free. Okay, these are your 4 functions. Now what are these capable of doing? Let's see one by one. The malloc is used to allocate the memory blocks at runtime. Okay, it is going to allocate an entire memory block. For example, if you are giving integer roll number 10, okay, and simultaneously you are giving malloc 10, then what is the difference? In integer roll number 10, total 10 memory blocks, each of 2 bytes. So that means 20 bytes will get allocated. But in malloc 10, a memory block of size 10 is going to get allocated. Okay, let's see. The header file which you have to include is stdlib.h. So don't forget this header file when you are working with dynamic memory allocation, or say whenever you are going to use mallocs and callocs, don't forget to include this header file stdlib.h. Okay, that is your standard library.h. How are you going to use it? Now see, the malloc, just let us go part by part. When you execute this malloc and some size in byte, okay, then just try to visualize what I'm trying to tell you here is the malloc is going to assign you a memory block. Let's say the size in byte which you have given is 10. Okay, so the malloc is going to reserve a block, a total block of 10 bytes of memory. Okay, and that block will be accessed by a pointer of type void. Okay, so that pointer is to be typecasted first, because malloc is returning a pointer to the reserved memory block. Okay, and the pointer type of that is void. So we are typecasting it, ptr type star. Okay, so pointer type star, so whatever the pointer type is, this where you are storing it, with that pointer type we are typecasting it. Okay, so that's why ptr type star in front. Okay, and we are storing it, the value we are storing it here in a pointer type variable again. So see, this is what I was trying to tell you, that it returns a pointer of type void that has to be typecasted. The malloc is going to return you that pointer, okay? And the pointer which is returned is of type void, and that's why you are doing ptr type. Okay, so in your examination, it can be asked like this, that in one line answer, that explain why we are typecasting the in your malloc syntax. Then what will be your answer in the examination? If it is asked that why are we doing this, integer star or float star before malloc, then what shall be your answer?
Malloc is returning a pointer.
Malloc is returning a pointer, but you have to mention, do not forget that the pointer is of type void. Okay, that's why see I have given it a red line here in your screens, if you can see. It is important for you to know. So yes, exactly right. The malloc is returning you a pointer pointing towards the memory block reserved by this size, but that pointer is of type void, and that's why we need to typecast it with whatever the data type we want, and data type and star, and that data type is of this pointer. Okay, the one where you are storing the value. So if this ptr, if this black ptr is of integer star ptr, then you are giving here integer star. If it is float star, then you are giving here float star. Okay, so please do keep in mind, don't forget this. Now see, here is an example. Okay, there is one, a program in which I'm declaring an array of size 6. Okay, the name of that array is roll number, and I have one integer star pointer. Fine. Now I'm using malloc. So ptr is equals to, see, first I'm just, you don't have to write like this in the examination. This is just for your explanation. Once you are understanding the logic and say the syntax, then you can directly write it, but this is just for your understanding. Okay, now see, ptr is equals to, first I'm writing here malloc. Okay, I mentioned the size 6. Okay, and integer star. Why integer star? Because this ptr is of type integer star. So integer star malloc 6. Now what the difference is happening? Okay, that is what I want to show you. When I execute this program, and the execution comes at this line, that is integer roll number 6. What your compiler is going to do, it is going to assign 6 blocks. Okay, if you can count, it is 6 blocks, each of 2 bytes, right? So 6 2s are 12. All right. So when it is coming here at malloc 6, okay, it is going to assign an entire memory block of 6 byte. Okay, so you need to take care that integer roll number 6 and malloc 6 does not allocate same amount of memory size. Okay, yes, if you do want that roll number integer array roll number 6 and malloc do assign same kind of memory block, then instead of 6 you have to give here 12. Okay, so 12 byte is reserved by roll number also, and 12 byte is reserved by malloc also. But if you are going like this as it is shown right now onto your screens, that roll number of size integer array of roll number size 6 and malloc of 6, then this is the difference you can see in the diagram. Roll number is going to take 12 bytes of memory, whereas your malloc is going to take a single block of 6 byte. All right, so this is not same. Roll number 6, integer roll number 6 and malloc 6 is not same. So that is what you have to take care. Okay, now see, as I said, that if you want to make both of them, if you want to make both of them to reserve same amount of memory, then this is what the change you need to do. Instead of malloc 6, you have to write there malloc 12. Then you can say that this malloc 12 has assigned a 12 byte of memory block. Again, it is a single memory block. It is not byte by byte, or you can say single memory block of 2 byte each. It is one full single 12 byte block. Okay, and you are free to use it in whichever way you want. All right, so see, in that also, let's say the 12 byte is assigned, then exactly if you go if you go in one step deeper level, it is 100, 102, 104, 106, 108 and 110. Okay, and the pointer of this malloc, pointer of your malloc 12 will be pointing at the first memory address. Okay, this particular highlighted portion, it is going to, this ptr is going to point at your 100. Okay, so whenever you are going with the array implementation using malloc, then that array will, that array, of course, for you it is going to start with index number 0, but at the back end in your memory, this ptr pointer, this black ptr pointer, this is going to have the starting address memory of this 100. Okay, and using that starting address, it is going to place values here. Let me show you one example. This example you have to implement. For example, void main integer I integer star pointer. Okay, and that pointer I'm giving size 12, so integer star malloc 12. All right. Now I'm using a loop to store the values here inside my memory block. So for I equal to 0, I less than 6, I plus plus. Okay, and I'm scanning each of the values for each of my memory addresses. Okay, so 100, 102, 104. So PTR plus I. Okay, it is highlighted. That is what I tried to show you. Okay, with the help of PTR plus I am going to take values for each of the memory block. So in the output, when you run this program, this is what you are going to write: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Now when I'm implementing one more for loop, and this is how in the memory block it is going to get stored. Now when I'm implementing one more for loop to print it, okay, so obviously again for I equal to 0, I less than 6, I plus plus, printf percentage %d. Now see, as it is my pointer here pointing at the memory address, first memory address of that block, I am going to write star inside the bracket ptr plus I. Okay, directly if it was any variable or say array, then what you are writing? ARR of I. Okay, but as we are dealing with pointer here, so it will be star inside the bracket ptr plus I. And when you go and execute that loop, this is the same output you get as you have given the input. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Clear till here? The pointer part and the malloc part? Yes or no, students? Students, please answer. Okay, Aditya, which part you want me to repeat?
This execution part, what actually happened for this program.
Okay, all right. See, when you are writing this program, let's say you have written this program, okay? Integer variable I is taken and integer pointer star ptr is taken, okay? And as the data type or say the pointer type is integer, so here in typecasting I'm writing ptr is equals to integer star malloc 12. So when and you are writing a for loop to scan the elements and you're writing a for loop to print the elements. Now coming to the execution part, when you execute, you are coming to the first line here in the execution. So integer I. So that variable is having some memory, either 2 or 4 byte. Then the pointer part. Again the pointer is getting taking memory part. Okay. Now this pointer equal to integer star malloc 12 is when the execution of this line happens. Then due to malloc 12, the size is 12, okay, and it is malloc, so one full chunk or you can say one full memory block of size 12 is assigned, okay, and each of those byte are having memory addresses as 100, 102, 104, 106, 108, and 110. Okay, so exactly 12 bytes. All right. Now, what is happening here? This malloc is going to return you a pointer, okay, and that pointer is going to point at the very first memory address of your block. The very first memory address of your block here is 100. Okay, so what pointer is going to get the value as 100? Okay, so that is where it is pointing at. So when you are doing any execution with respect to this PTR, then whatever you are going to store, that value shall be stored from 100 and to their succeeding memory blocks. Okay, that is what it is going to happen. Now coming to your for loop. When you are executing this for loop to scan the elements, okay, you are using PTR plus I. So pointer plus I, initially it was 0. So what will be, what, where it is going to store? Pointer plus I. So 100 plus 0. So that is 100. So at 100 it is going to store here. Okay. Then again it is going to go for the second run. Second run again it is going to increment your pointer value. Then it is going to go at 102, 104, 106 and so on. Okay. Now it is coming to your printf part here. The only difference till date what in this printf is you are using here pointers, right? We are dealing with pointers here, PTR. So that's why after comma, generally if it was an variable or say if it was an array, then we had directly must have written the variable name, that is comma I or X or Y, or if it was array then it will be ARR of I. Okay, but as here we are dealing with pointers, so it is important for you to mention this star inside the bracket PTR plus I. So one by one in this loop, the given inputs here in scanf will be printed out as output. Okay, clear now? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Okay, I'm giving you 2 minutes to note down this program. Note down it in your consoles. I'm keeping the screen for you. And if you want to note down with the given explanation also somewhere in the book, then it is quite a good approach. That is what I would like you guys to do. Keep a separate book for your DS. Though I'm not urging you, but it will be a good practice so that whenever we are discussing anything like this, you can just note down. Of course, I'm going to upload the PPT, so that is not an issue.
Ma'am,
But yes,
ma'am, instead of malloc 12, we can use the number of element into the size of the type of element.
yes, that is what we are going to see next. I'll come to that part also, where you are not, still, if you can see, this program is static. If you can observe, I'm not taking the size from the user. I am the programmer and I'm,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
only
that's only
directly giving the size 12. That part, Tushar, I'm coming in the next part once you finish this code. I'm giving you 2 minutes to note it down. If you are not, due to some reasons, if you are not, available with your console apps, but if you are having console, the console is open, kindly run this program. And if you are done, please let me know. 2 minutes are up. That's why. And it is quite a small program. Done, I suppose, for all of you. What about others? Ayush, Devansh, Dipen, Josh, Rohan, Riddhi. What about you people? Done? Okay. Keep it ready, because at the end I'm going to see. Randomly I'll pick up the student and I'll see whichever example which I've given to you to execute, that I want it in written form. Okay. So don't remove next when I'm going to give you the execution part of the program. Keep this example intact. Okay. So if you're using your consoles, please keep it either in one window, and in the second window start a new console, or if you are dealing with any IDEs like code blocks or Dev C++, then create another project for the same. Okay, but do not clear it out and afterwards tell me that madam, I cleared it out. Don't do that. I'm giving you instructions from first only. Okay, keep this intact. Fine, so let's move forward then. See that this is what I had highlighted for you to demonstrate and clear the concepts, but as I have already explained it, so I'm not going it again. Okay, coming to the part where we are trying to make our program a little bit more dynamic, that means more interactive, okay, with the user. If you can observe, in our previous program we had given malloc 12. Okay, now what we are going to make change is, the program remains kind of same only. The only change we are doing is in terms of the size which we are providing in malloc. Now what we are going to do, we are going to ask the user to enter the integer type of size. Okay, even if you don't mention it, the program is going to take the integer type, but it is good to mention it to the user. So what I'm doing is, I'm including one scanf statement here. A scanf statement is to be included, and with the help of that scanf, I'm taking the value of n. Whatever n value I'm getting, that is what I am passing here, n star 2. Okay, or n star 4. All right, if I know that it is my modern compiler, then I'm going to pass n star 4. Why 4? Because integer type. Okay, so when I'm doing this scanf statement, I'm going to get a value that is a size, for a size value. Okay, and that particular size value I'm going to pass here in the highlighted portion. So n star 2. Okay, so when I'm executing this program again, now see, instead of I less than 6, I am writing I less than n. Okay, that is what one small change is. In your for loop, you are going to change that. Instead of 6, you are going to write it as n. So when you are executing this, the output will be, let's say the user entered n value as 4. So 4 2s are 8. Okay, so malloc is going to assign total 8 bytes of memory block. Okay, of 2 bytes each, and that pointer PTR is going to get the starting address as 210. All right, so when this loop, this highlighted loop is getting executed, that means I'm taking values from the user for each of my memory block. Let's say the value given is 20, 34, 54 and 11. Okay, then those values are getting stored here accordingly in the memory which is allocated to pointer. Okay, and the starting address is 210, and with the help of that starting address, one by one we are entering those four values. Now when you are coming to the second part of your for loop, that is to print those statements, and it is executed, then in your output again you are getting 20, 34, 54 and 11. But do you find any problem here in this program? Is there any problem in this program? Problem, I mean, I'm not saying that whether it is with error or there is some logical mistake. I'm not saying that, because I'm getting correct output for my given input. Okay, so it is not that kind of a mistake, but there is some issue. Just observe the program. Do you find that minor issue? Yes? Anybody? Take a guess. I don't mind. Guesswork is also fine.
Ma'am, in the output, all the numbers are uh, conjugated, means.
In the output, numbers are conjugated. No, the output is same as it is given input. Problem is not with input and output. The problem here is with the written program. Look on the program which is written and see if there is any possibility for your program not running correctly. Yashan, good try, but you don't have to look in the input, you have to look in the program. Anybody else would like to take a guess? Riddhi?
Maybe there will be plus plus I instead of y plus plus pre-increment.
No.
We'll first increase the element and then we will sum up, kind of a thing.
No, no, no. Riddhi? Okay, by this also I'll get the idea of your attendance too. So if you are not able to answer with your mic, then kindly write in the chat also.
Ma'am, we didn't give the print statement before scanf for n.
Within the print statement, means in the second for loop you are saying here?
No, in starting for n.
Here.
Yeah.
And scanf, no, scanf is correct, but you are quite near. Anybody else would like to try? Pathik? What are your views? Do you say or can you identify, is there any problem? Yes, Pathik. All right. See, the problem here is with n star 2 in your malloc. If you have
Ma'am, we need to give the integer. If it is integer or float, or it should be
the
given
problem,
size of integer, size of
Tushar,
float.
yes, Tushar, you are absolutely right. See, here I know I am a programmer and I know that my compiler is not a modern compiler. Okay, so n star 2, when I'm giving n star 2, that means whatever the size user wants, I am going to multiply it by 2. Why 2? Because of my integer type and my compiler being old. Okay, and that's what I know about it. Now, this makes this program limited to only those kind of compilers who are assigning size 2. Okay, now you can say that, madam, we are in the modern compiler zone. So, like, we can, remove this n star 2 and we can go with n star 4. But then again, this program gets limited to your modern compilers only. Okay, and we don't want any limitation. As far as we can resolve it, we don't want any limitations in our program. Being a good programmer, okay, these are some of the facts that being a good programmer, you should be able to build such a program which is able to run in all possible environment as far as it can go. Okay, now if you go for n star 2 or n star 4, then it is either going to work with modern compilers or it is going to work with your older compilers. Okay, and that limitation we don't want, because again and again you don't know where this program is going to get used, which compiler is going to is going to execute this particular program. So in that case, you have to change this n star 2 a little bit. Okay, how you are going to do it? Just see. See, this is what I was trying to tell you, that this n star 2 is going to work for your older machines. Okay, but it is not going to work for your new machines. Okay, even if you do with n star 4, then vice versa case. It is going to work for your new machines. But for the older machines, it is not gonna work. So that's why we are going to use size of. Okay, what is your size of? Tell me quickly. What does your size of do?
It will give size
It
of
take
the
the size of the integer or data type.
any data type.
Correct. Both of you right. The size of is going to take up the size of your data type directly. No matter in which machine it is running, according to that machine, the size of your data type is taken up by this size of function and it is going to return you the size. Okay. So instead of n star 2, what you can write is size of integer. Okay, so no matter now that is it your older machine or your new machine, whatever the compiler is compatible with, that particular size of your data type integer is going to be assigned in your malloc. Okay, so this is what the example is trying to tell you. So instead of n star 2, previously we had written n star 2, instead you can write n star size of integer. Now see, now the program is going to run in each of the compilers. Now you don't have to worry that, okay, or you don't have to check first that which kind of compiler the program is going to run. No matter, you are just simply giving the program. Let's say Vidhi made this program, and Vidhi is simply telling Yashank that, okay, Yashank, take this program. It is going to run in any of the compiler which you want to run. Why she is telling this with this confidence? Because in malloc she has used n star size of integer, and this size of integer shall help this program to run in any of the compilers. All right. So when you are writing your malloc function, you are going to write it like this: n star size of integer. Okay. And in the for loop, instead of those 6, okay, the 6 that we were mentioning, instead of 6 now it will be n here. N is the input, or say the size given by the user, or say the number of blocks which the user wants to have in the program. Okay, please note this down. Note down this full program. Okay, don't just go and edit the previous one. That's why I told you that if you are using your mobile phones, then open up a new tab in that online compiler and write this program again. And if you are using your IDEs, then open a new file in that IDE and write this program. Again, giving you a few minutes of time to write. Take 2 minutes. 2 minutes is more than enough, because again you can do the copy paste, okay, and then you can go and change whatever the changes are to be done, so it won't take a long time. Okay, Tushar is done. Anybody else? All right, Aditya and Vidhi are done. What about Rohan, Riddhi, Pathik, Josh, Manav, Devansh, Ayush? Okay. So moving forward, this is the explanation which I had kept, that size of integer is going to be taken 2 or 4 depending on your compiler. Okay. Now see, we are coming to the next part, that is your calloc function. Okay. Now this calloc is going to allocate multiple memory blocks at runtime. The malloc was assigning a single memory block, okay, a single chunk of memory block at runtime. The calloc is used to allocate the multiple memory blocks. Okay, the header file again is include stdlib.h. Okay, and the usage, or you can say the syntax for calloc, is ptr equal to ptr type star calloc n comma size. Now this n comma size is actually because it is going to assign multiple memory blocks. Okay, it is not going to assign a full memory chunk, or say a single memory block. It is going to assign more than one, the memory blocks at runtime. So that's why n comma size. Okay, unlike malloc, in malloc what you are doing, You are simply passing the size. Okay, you are not going with the two parameters, but inside Kellogg there are two parameters, n and the size. Again, we are typecasting it because Kellogg is going to return a pointer of type void. Okay, so you have to typecast it. So that's why PTR type star. See, this is with the respect to malloc. I'm going to compare it. Okay, I have a program here, void main, integer variables I've taken I, n and pointer PTR. And I'm taking a size from the user with the help of my scanf statement. Okay, so scanf %d(n), and I'm executing a malloc statement here with n star size of integer. Okay, and these two for loops are to scan and printf my elements. So when I'm executing it, let's say I've given n equal to 3. So 3 into size of integer. Okay, so either it will be 6 in case of 2, so 3 2s are 6, or 3 4s are 12. Okay, so let's say it is taking a 6 byte. Now as malloc, being we are executing malloc, then whole of a 6 byte memory chunk, you can say a memory block, is getting reserved. Okay, so 3 into 2 bytes, so total 6 bytes. Okay, so like this it is going to getting assigned in case of your Kellogg. Okay, see the change is here. If you can see, initially it was malloc. Okay, now in case of Kellogg, you are writing here, the only change here is in the PTR statement. When you are writing Kellogg, you are giving n comma size of integer. So what it is doing, 3 star 2 byte, so 6 byte. But that 6 byte is not fixed, that it is going to be in a memory block, one memory block only. It is going to assign multiple memory blocks. Okay, and all those memory blocks will be initialized to 0 initially. Okay, before placing any values, it is going to get initialized with zeros, all those memory blocks. Okay, those multiple memory blocks. So that is what the difference is. Write down this program also. Any doubt here in Kellogg? Though Kellogg is not over, but till here, till this discussion part, any doubt or any questions you would like to ask? Yes, anybody? Any doubts? Once you are done with this program, kindly acknowledge the same. Again, I'm saying don't remove those two previous programs. Do this in a new one.
Ma'am, can you explain the Kellogg?
Okay. See, when you are executing the Kellogg, what are the properties of Kellogg? First of all, Kellogg is not going to assign a single memory block. Okay. In your malloc, a single memory block of a given size was getting reserved. But in the case of Kellogg, it is going to assign multiple memory blocks. Okay, those memory blocks are not, a single memory. A single memory means like from 100 to 116. Okay, like that it is not going to assign. It is going to assign multiple memory blocks, but ultimately the size will be 6 byte only. Okay, so that is one property of Kellogg. Secondly, all the assigned memory blocks, all the assigned multiple memory blocks will be initialized to 0. That is not happening in your malloc. Okay, malloc is simply assigning one single memory block, but in Kellogg multiple memory blocks are assigned, and all those memory blocks are initialized to 0. As you can see in the screen, I have demonstrated 3 into 2 bytes. Okay, why 2 bytes? Because I have given n equal to 3 here, and size of integer taken up by the compiler is 2 bytes. So 3 into 2 bytes, so 6 byte. Okay, so compiler went and assigned 3 memory blocks. Okay, and these 3 memory blocks are not necessarily in a continuous manner. Okay, this first memory block can be at memory address 103. This can be at memory address 105. This can be at at memory address 100. So multiple memory blocks. Okay, and all those memory blocks are initialized to 0. That's why here it is written 000. And here I have not operated, I have not done any scanf, I have not done any printf. Okay, I have just executed this third line, that is ptr equal to integer star Kellogg n comma size of integer. So this is what has happened in your memory. 3 blocks, 3 multiple blocks, each assigned initialized to value 0 initially. And that is what the difference is. Malloc is going to assign one full memory block. Kellogg is going to assign multiple memory blocks. In malloc, the memory block is not assigned to 0, whereas in Kellogg, each of the assigned multiple blocks are assigned value initially 0. Now understood, Yashang?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other doubts, students? Even if you have done, please write in the chat that you have finished. Okay, Pathik has done, even Aditya. Devansh and Yashang too. Okay. Riddhi also. Okay. Manav too. Ayush, Dipen, Rohan, Vidhi, Tushar. What about you? Okay. So this will be the third program. Okay. First two are those malloc with static. One program is malloc with static type. One program is malloc with dynamic. This is for Kellogg. Okay. So 3 programs should be ready when I ask you to present your screens. Okay. So moving forward again, the explanation has been, already given you. I have highlighted the part. Due to size n given as 3 and size of integer taken as 2b, so total 6 byte of memory is getting assigned, and it is multiple blocks. Okay, so now coming to your realloc function, that is your third function in your dynamic memory allocation. Okay, let's say you have implemented calloc. All right, you are taking the size from the user using your scanf statement, that is %d ampersand n. Okay, the ptr pointer is equals to integer star calloc n size of integer. Okay, now let's say n is given as 5. Okay, so you can say that total 10 byte will get assigned because size of integer is taken as 2. So 5 2s are 10, and the pointer ptr will be at the starting address. All right, now let's compare it with integer a of n. A of n will be again a of 5. Okay, so here also 10 byte is getting executed in case of my array. Okay, a is the array name. Now this is the question that arises, that what if the user wants to store only 2 values after entering n equal to 5. Initially, let's take that same example of that school only. Initially, my toppers were 5 students. Okay, so I asked the programmer that create a program where I can store the information about the toppers, which are generally going to be 5 students. So we programmer abided by the constraints, okay, abided by the needs, and we made one program, and where we are saying that okay, if you enter n equal to 5, then it is going to allow you to do so. But what my user felt, that it gave n equal to 5. Okay, but then when it is comparing with the data, he or she came to know that okay, this time there are not 5 toppers, but there are only 3 toppers. Now you cannot go with the wastage of memory, right? So here you cannot do anything because it is integer a of n. Here obviously there will be wastage of exactly 4 bytes, because you are going to enter only 3 topper information. Okay, but in the case here, in the case of your calloc, it can be handled with the help of your realloc. Okay, you can reallocate the memory of this by using realloc. How? Realloc, give the pointer name, that is ptr, and the size, or say the size which you want. Okay, initially it was 10 byte. Okay, so 5, you are given 5, and 5 into the size of integer. Okay, so 5 to the 10, it took. Now in realloc, you are supposed to give the exact size for which you want to store that particular information. So here you are not going to give 2, and that 2 into size of integer and 4, that is not you are going to give. You are going to give the exact size here in your realloc statement. Okay, and ptr is the pointer which is pointing towards that memory block. So realloc ptr comma star comma 4. Okay, let's say it is not 4 byte, you want to assign 8 bytes, then you can also write 8 bytes also. So that means total 4 memory block will be reallocated with the new memory. Okay, so that with the help of realloc, you can do it, resizing of the memory. Okay, as and when it is needed. Clear with realloc? Realloc part is clear? Any doubts? Yes or no, students? Any doubts? Okay. Realloc, you don't need to implement it. If you don't want, then you are you can, I mean, I'm not, forcing to implement realloc. This is for your information and for you to know what exactly realloc is. In our practical, we are focusing on malloc, calloc, and free. Okay, but realloc is the part of your DMA. Okay, and you should know what exactly realloc is and how it is getting used. Okay, so if time permits, we shall go for one extra program where we are demonstrating realloc also. But for now, this is for you to just know the concept of realloc. Okay, so moving forward to your free function. All right. Now see, this is the same program which you have implemented or which you have with you. Okay, there is no change. I'm using a malloc to give memory size, and I'm going to take from the user and size of integer, and I'm going to store some values with the help of my first for loop scanf statement, and I'm going to print those values with the second for loop printf statement. Okay, now let's say the user has entered n equal to 5. Okay, so size of integer is taken up as 2, and that's why 5 into 2, so 10. Okay, so malloc, so one memory block is assigned, not multiple memory blocks. One single memory block of 10 byte is assigned, and the pointer PTR is pointing at the first address of that memory block. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to free up this memory space. Whatever, for whatever purpose I had assigned this 10 byte is now fulfilled. Now I have to free up that. Okay, so with the help of free function, we are going to do it. Once we are done with whatever operations we had to do with this malloc, we are going to use free function to free up that memory space so that it can be reused for any another process. And how we are going to free it? You are going to write the syntax as free, and inside that bracket you are going to name the pointer. Okay, the pointer which is pointing at that memory address. So free in the bracket ptr, and when this is executed, the compiler is going to free up the memory which is pointed by this ptr. Okay, so that particular memory is now free for you to use for any another process. So that is your free function. When you execute it, that free function is going to remove that allocated memory. So if you can see, initially 10 byte was reserved. Now when you are executing that free statement after or doing all your processes, then that due to that free function, that allocated memory vanishes. Okay, vanishes means it is getting deallocated. Deallocation is happening. Okay, and this pointer is now pointing nowhere. Okay, so this was your dynamic memory allocation: malloc, calloc, realloc, and free. That's all from explanation side. Okay, now first of all, before I'm giving you the task, first of all let me see all those three uh, executed program of yours. I'm stopping my screen and I'm going to randomly pick up a student, and you have to present my screen, your screen. Okay, all right, Devansh,
Yes, ma'am.
please present your screen.
Yes, ma'am. Is it visible?
Okay. All right. Where is the calloc? Run the program.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the very first one where we are simply giving the value. We are not taking n value. Statically we are giving.
Ma'am, that I have implemented, but that I have implemented in Dev C++, but it has stopped due to some issues that I am implementing here only now. I will just show you in 2 minutes.
Okay. I'll come back to you again. Stop presenting the screen. Thank you. Rohan? Rohan, can you hear me out?
Ma'am, I will present in 5 minutes.
Okay. Riddhi,
Yes, ma'am.
please present the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Devansh, please wait. Okay, the very first. Okay, with the malloc of size is static, so size is 12. Okay, I know it is going to run. Fine. Go to the second program. Malloc in star size of integer. Okay. And the third program. Okay, the value given as 5, 13723. Okay. All right, Riddhi. Thank you for presenting. You can stop. Students, what I observed with the two screens that is shared so far by now is that, again, you have not mentioned the comments. The comments are again missing. Even if there is no need of comment, then you should have a practice to write a comment at the very starting of your program that actually the program is demonstrating what. So if you have not written that, all of you write it down. Vidhi, show me.
Yes, ma'am.
All those who have missed writing the comments, please write down the comments. Yes, good, Riddhi. All right. See, this will, not only help you in future, but it is also going to help the person who is looking at your program. I'm not restricting my scope to the professors who are evaluating your paper, or say to those who are checking your practicals. Okay, I am talking in general. In general, it means in your higher semesters also, when you are dealing with various kinds of programming language. Like in this semester only, you are dealing with Python programming and C programming, right? So in both the languages, have a habit or have a practice to write comments. Okay, it is going to help you. And also, when you are going to go for any corporate world where you are involved in writing programs, or even if you are involved in modifying those programs, maintaining the programs also, there it is going to help you as well as your colleagues, that exactly at which point what you have done, where you have done. Okay, and it will make your things quite easier, not only on understanding part, but also to locate that exactly where the changes were made and due to what things are not logically correct. So that is why I am again and again telling you to write comments. And I'm not saying that again, don't take it in a way that you are writing comments after each and every line. Okay, not needed. But yes, what Vidhi has written is correct. Wherever you are writing the main part of your program, that you should mention that dynamically taking values in malloc or statically taking values in malloc. So good, Riddhi. It was quite a good effort from you, and I encourage all others to do the same. Okay, so I suppose everybody is done with the 3 programs. Rohan, done? Rohan, I would like to see your screen. Please be ready. Meanwhile, I'll see Devansh and then I'll again call up for you, because by this I'm also getting to know your attendance too. So those people who have already shown me the screen, somewhere I know that okay, they are there in the session. But for others, I'll be in the doubt. Okay, Devansh, present your screen. Rohan, I'm going to come back to you after I see the Devansh screen. Devansh, please present your screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is static memory allocation. Fine. One, 23, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 3 and 3, 6. All right. Yeah, done. Again, Devansh,
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
fail to write comments, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Pathik, what is the doubt? You can unmute yourself and or yeah, sure. You can present the screen also, no problem. Okay, no issues. Present the screen. I cannot. Anyone else can see his screen? It is not visible to me. Anyone else can see it? Okay, Pathik, retry. For the rest of the students, I'm giving you the task here in the chat. For the rest of the students, start implementing the program which is given in the chat. Write a program using switch case to implement malloc and calloc function for printing 7 values. Okay, so that means you have to take 7 values from the user and print those 7 values, and you have to implement a single program. So that's why you are using switch case. So you have to take the choice from the user also, so exactly which function he or she wants to implement, malloc or calloc. According to the choice, implement the function malloc or calloc. Okay, and again mentioning, don't forget to write the comments. Anybody done? If you are stuck in between anywhere, just ask me, okay? Don't wait. Students, what is the progress? Any doubt? Anywhere you are stuck up, please ask. Okay, let me present the screen. I hope you all are coding as well.
Ma'am, I'm having some error in the code.
Okay.
May I present?
Yeah, sure. Okay, what is the issue?
It's showing here declaration of I.
Okay. Yes, because multiple declaration and usage of I.
For
In
firstly,
case one, it's fine. In case one, it is fine. But in case two, try to use another variable name. Everywhere you are supposed to be. Wait, Vidhi. J equal to 0, then J less than N, not I less than N. In the second for loop also. Stop the program first. Yes, now make the change. Okay.
yeah,
Now see, as you have not given the instructions that exactly what is to be done.
I'll do
Okay.
that.
So that's why there was a bit of confusion from your end also, that okay, after I given 5 and 1, now what? Is it getting executed or not? Right?
Yeah,
So give printf statement also.
okay, I'll mention those.
Okay, make that minor change. Give printf statement also, that whatever things are happening, you're writing that in printf statement.
Okay.
Anybody else finished? Yes, students? Anybody else? Would like to show the program? Okay. Riddhi, please present the screen. Enter the value of n. Where is, can you, the output window, can you scroll up a bit? Okay, but enough. N is 7. Enter your choice, that is 1, that is, okay. In enter your choice, you have missed to give a printf statement that what is choice number 1 and what is choice number 2. Okay, so that is one update which you need to do. Printf switch case. It's fine, you don't need to answer right now, just note down the updates. Case 1. Okay, you're allocating the memory. For loop executed. Okay. And in case 2, in size integer. Okay. Yeah, just one update. Mention what is choice number 1 and choice number 2. Aditya? Show me till where have you done? Okay, giving you 5 minutes. Tushar?
Ma'am, wait a second. I'm trying to debugging the error.
Okay. Devansh? Manav? Manav? Okay, do it fast because it is already going to be time up. Once you are asking me 5 minutes, but within 5 minutes the time is going to be up, and I'm not going to leave you without seeing your screens, so buck up.
Ma'am, I'm not able to get the output.
Show me the
I'm not being
screen.
able to get output. Yeah.
Okay, Devansh, I'll see your screen next. Tushar, this n value you are supposed to take inside the case. Otherwise, how it is going to, take up that n? And case you are writing as Kellogg, right? But it is
Yes,
not
yes.
able to execute anything. Try taking this n inside the case.
Can you see the whole program? If there is something more error, I can fix it in a one single note.
Okay, then scroll down a bit. I can see till break statement of Kellogg. Okay, scroll down a bit. In malloc C, you have taken n inside the case. Okay. The rest of the things remains similar as what you have, separately implemented your malloc and Kellogg. Rest of the things remain similar. Just you had to place it in your switch case statements. Yeah, fine. Nothing to be updated else. Yeah, one thing. No
At the last
comments.
break will be
There are no comments, so please do write the comments. Okay.
And ma'am, at the end there will be break, no?
Yes. You can even write one default statement also to handle the situation where the
Ma'am,
choice
default
is
is
not
optional,
getting.
so I haven't. Default is optional, so I haven't given right now.
Yeah, it is optional. That's what I'm saying. That you can even write a default case also to handle a situation where the choice is not matching with any of the cases. So
Okay,
at
ma'am.
that time, you can also give one default statement too.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, Tushar, you can stop presenting. Thank you. Devansh, please present the screen. Okay. Scroll down. Okay, run the program. Okay. See, there is one good point and one update. The good point is
Yes, ma'am.
you have informed at each and every stage, you have informed the user what is happening with your program. For example, when you entered the choice, then you are telling your user that your choice is malloc. So that is a good thing. Okay. Even in the case of your calloc, you have mentioned it.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
one update which you need to do is everywhere 7 is mentioned.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So instead of 7, take n,
User
and
input.
that n value is to be given by the user.
Okay.
All right. Because by
Okay.
directly passing 7, the value 7, you are making your program static.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So
Okay.
take that 7, the value of 7 as n, and n value is to be given by the user. All right. So that is
Okay,
only one
ma'am.
update. Rest of the things are
Okay.
perfect. Good.
Okay.
Okay. Rest of the students. Manav, 5 minutes over. Done? Okay. Aditya? Show me. Okay. Let me help you out with that. Show me the program. Enter the size, enter your choice. Okay. What error is it showing?
Ma'am, printer statement.
Okay. Have you tried to refresh your window? It
No,
might
ma'am.
happen because you are using an online compiler. So copy your whole program. Okay, Control A, Control C, and refresh your online compiler. Okay, now replace the whole code here. Control A, Control V. Now try to run it. Comma before scanf. Your second printf statement. Label can only be part of a statement. Declaration is not a statement. Okay. N undeclared. Where is your n? You have taken integer a. Okay, you have taken I. So instead of for size, you have not taken n. You have taken I. Again, wherever you have mentioned n in the loops also, you have to replace it with I. Okay, stop presenting your screen. Continue with the editing part of your program.
Okay.
Fine. So students, we are keeping this session till here. This particular program, okay, the program using the switch case is the program which you have to submit me when I ask you to, okay. In that you have to add one case of free also, okay. So you have implemented two cases, malloc and calloc. Along with that, in calloc, do one thing, in calloc only, use free function to free up the PTR, okay. So that will, cover the scope or say the question of your practical number 2, where you have to implement malloc, calloc and free function. All right. So complete the program. Still, if you have any doubts, you are free to ask me, contact me over emails. You are free to do so. Okay. Now, number wise, mention your numbers in the chat, okay, in serial order, and you are free to leave the session. Thank you all for your time and for attending this session. Have a nice day. Okay, AI 2 and 4. After that, five. Then 6. Pathik, you can leave. You have mentioned your number. Tushar, even you also. Aditya, you too.